Doflamingo, I am sorry. I take it all back. When I started calling you a brat, who was I wrong? You have every right to be as insane as you are. Wow, what a backstory. I mean, bravo, Ichiro Oda. This flashback, these last few flashbacks have been nothing but torment for character after character. Oh man, that's why flashbacks have always been some of the strongest aspects of One Piece. They're always just so either epically amazing or so tragically heart-pulling. It's like, damn. So, as you can tell, this chapter was mostly about Doflamingo's past and pretty much Law's initiation into the Don Quixote family. And we finally get a good look at Doflamingo's parents, his dad and his mom, and they look kind of average. You know, Doflamingo has always had this design that stood out. Like, this minute you see him, you immediately can tell that is one crazy ass dude. He is awesome. But the minute you see his parents, you almost feel like they don't lend much to the imagination. They're kind of bland. But either way, I mean, it's still fine. But we finally get a good look as to how it ended up the way it did. Doflamingo's dad wanted to go live humbly as a normal person, although he still technically had a lot of money and a big mansion. But I guess as humbly as a celestial dragon can live. Of course, Doflamingo, you know, being a kid, was so used to a certain lifestyle, he didn't like that. So he went to town and started yelling to everyone, "Don't you know who I am? Bow down to me. I am a celestial dragon." And of course, that led to a lot of people just going out and just attacking them. My God. I mean, it was brutal. And it's sad because I understand that the Celestial Dragons have had the worst reputation in history. I mean, they've done a lot of shit in the past, and a lot of people are not going to forget that. They are not. They have a lot of anger, and even if it was only one of the Celestial Dragon families to do it, they will blame the entire Celestial Dragon system rather than just that one family. So they're taking out their frustrations on probably a Celestial Dragon family that had nothing to do with any of their pain, but they don't care. They're just so hurt and destroyed by what the Celestial Dragons did that they're just willing to take any chance at beating down on anyone who holds that title. And here is one Celestial Dragon finally wanted to do something good. You know, he wanted to live like a normal human being and actually take a step towards a better tomorrow for everyone. And he's treated like the most heinous person in the world. His kids are being assaulted in the streets. His wife has to go, hungry and get sick. It's just hard to watch this man be destroyed. And especially when he's trying to call back to Mary Jo, telling them, "I was naive. I'm sorry. Can you at least take my kids and wife? Leave me, and still I don't want my title back. Just save my family." And to hear the other Celestial Dragons say, "It was your choice. Now don't ever call us again, you filthy human." My God, it just tore me up inside. And I can't even imagine what Doflamingo was thinking at the time when he saw this happening. His dad crying and begging on the phone to people who were once equal to them. At first, you can say he was angry that all this shit was happening because of his dad. But at the same time, there had to be some sadness behind it. It was like, sure, I never had the biggest respect for my dad, but I at least felt like he was proud of his actions. He should never regret what he did because he's of noble birth. He's a holy man. To see him like on his knees, tearing up like this, it's that what truly makes him human. He's no longer a noble, not when he decided to throw away his title, but when he started to realize that being human means having to go through hardship and pain, and then finally breaking down and crying for the safety of his family. And that was the breaking point for Doflamingo. It was just horrible. My God. And then seeing these three hung up to their house, blindfolded, and people actually shooting arrows at them. God damn. I can't. Whew. I mean, wow. I have to say it, but I think Doflamingo hands down has victory here. He has the most tragic backstory. Sure, his home island wasn't destroyed. Sure, he wasn't in slavery. But as a kid, his brother, his father, his mother were assaulted right in front of his eyes daily by people who hated them, despised them for their very existence. It was just heart-wrenching. It really tore at me. Oh my God. But either way, we go back to Law and his story about stabbing Corazon. The Corazon did not rat him out. Instead, he just kept quiet about it. He's wrapping up his wound. We see all the scars all over his body, probably from the fact that he was beaten up as a child and attacked and stabbed, and who knows how much more pain he went through. And I'm wondering if Doflamingo has scars like that too. I mean, to see someone as high and mighty as Doflamingo, who holds himself up to such a high regard as a kind of like a king or a god, to have these scars given to him by angry commoners who hated his very existence, is hard to imagine. It's going to be hard for me to see Doflamingo in the same light as before. I'm not going to be able to see to him as a heartless, insane madman who just wants to destroy things. I'm just going to see him as a tortured child who doesn't have to want to see that again, who doesn't want to endure that pain again. So really, this chapter changed a lot for me in terms of is Doflamingo even can he even be considered a villain anymore? But either way, Trafalgar Law is surprised that Corazon didn't rat him out. He's hanging out with Don Quixote family now. He's initiated into their crew. He's traveling with them. The disease is still spreading all over his body, and he's gonna die in probably a year now. And apparently his real name wasn't Trafalgar Law. At least it wasn't his full name. As Baby Five and Buffalo are just constantly bothering him and saying, "Hey, what's your real name? Come on, tell us." I was like, "Fine, my real name is," I believe it was Trafalgar D. Wend Law. So he's a D now. It's like, oh damn, it's awesome. And apparently, his name Weld or Wend, I can't believe I'm forgetting that. It's such a strange name. Is something even more special. I have no idea what it is. It has to do with his family, so maybe he's also of noble birth. Who knows? I mean, his house, or at least the hospital he lived in, looked kind of grand. So now he's a D, and Corazon takes him away saying, finally speaking. That was a surprise. Even Law was like, who said that? Oh shit, Corazon said that. Like, that's weird. Corazon looks very disturbed. It's like, you're a D? Are you sure? You are the last person that could be around, Doflamingo, right, around Doffy. You have to run away. Get away from Doffy as soon as possible. So what does the D have to do with Doflamingo? I mean, I have no idea. Are we going to finally find out more about the D? Are we going to find out more about Law? Is the reason Corazon sacrificed himself was to save Law, not just from the disease, but from Doflamingo too? It was Doflamingo was going to kill Corazon because he was trying to protect Law, because he found out he was a D. It's just mystery upon mystery. I can't wait to find out more. But from what we know already, so much has changed. How I view Trafalgar Law, how I view Doflamingo. I'm never gonna look at any of these characters the same ever again. I'm not gonna look at Dressrosa the same ever again. And I think that's fantastic. One Piece is once again keeping me on my toes, and that's why I've always loved One Piece. I mean, I can't wait to see what happens next. I can't expect what's gonna happen next. Not anymore. At this point, no predictions I can make that will satisfy me. I'll just have to wait and see what Ichiro Oda has in store for me, and I'm glad. I am truly glad. So until then, I'm Tony Dragon. Bye bye.